Road, rail, waterways and air travel. The economic prosperity of any nation is tied to this public infrastructure. Nigeria's infrastructure deficit, amounting to 30% of its gross domestic product, falls short of the international benchmark of the 70% set by the World Bank. That's according to the International Trade Office of the U.S. Department of Commerce. This is corroborated by Professor Ndubuisi Nwokuma, the director of the Center for Economic Policy Analysis and Research of the University of Lagos.
Nigeria has a very great deficit when it comes to infrastructure. Just like we talk about in economics, we have what we call social overhead capital. And that is what drives economic growth, because there must be some basic infrastructure. I talk about gross capital formation, or fixed capital formation, which is very, very critical. Nigeria has a very great deficit, and unless we address that, I don't think the economy has any progress that we will expect to come from it.
President Bola Tinubu had announced and also reiterated the creation of a new infrastructure fund, part of a series of measures to boost the economy and ease the impact of fuel subsidy removal.
To ensure better grassroots development, we set up an infrastructure support fund for states to invest in critical areas. States have already received funds to provide relief packages against the impact of rising food and other prices.
There is a functional rail system in some corridors, and the federal government recently inaugurated the movement of cargo from the busiest seaports to the rail line. The president is expected to pick up the uncompleted work from where his predecessor left off. In 1896, the British government started the first rail line along the Lagos-Ibadan corridor. By 1964, more than 11 million Nigerians were already using the service across the country. But as time went by, the numbers dipped. The former President Muhammadu Buhari seemed to have got the country back on the track. But what is the plan of the current administration? I asked the Minister of Transportation what this government plans to do differently.
First and foremost is to ensure what is on ground is put into use, because even what is on ground is too enormous for us to achieve as a country. So once we are able to achieve what is being put on ground, then we'll look further to decide on the expansion.
On road infrastructure, the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, has been visiting federal projects across the country and also quite vocal about the use of concrete pavement in road construction. He says it is more cost-effective and durable.
Most roads in this country do not last up to 5 years, and this is what we want to arrest. This road, beautifully constructed, is going to last more than 50 years, and this is it. No job will be awarded under me henceforth without it being on concrete pavement.
With the country's population growing at the rate of over 2.5% per year, the current infrastructure in the country is overstretched. A lot more needs to be done.
What government needs to do is to do some kind of to leverage on the link with the country already has with China. China is ready to invest if there are no bottlenecks. They've done that for many African countries. All you need to do is to see how you can leverage on our oil resources, or talk about like it happened before even for the airports, counterpart funding, to see how they can take a large portion of the funding, more than happened before, and then we can now religiously maybe provide money so that they can come in and provide this infrastructure. And over the years, if the government is faithful, we can get these things functional. And the other area that also we can do is to talk about user charges, where you now begin to introduce toll. You now begin to toll the roads.
As Nigeria marks the 63rd Independence Day anniversary, there are hopes that the country will live up to its full potential and also continue to build public infrastructure to the benefit of all Nigerians. Dari Idu, Channels Television.